Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.
Fall in. Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? My fault. My fault. A little bit of technical difficulties. You know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey, and we are rocking with E2G Sports Network presents First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on, fall in with us this morning as we get to talking about some of the sports happenings over the last 24 hours as it continues to try to get the system back up and running again. Just a small inkling of a situation, of course. I'm sorry for the delay as I get messages for everyone that's hitting me up and probably wondering what's going on. Uh, I see the stream has been running, but I'm here now. Um, Let me see. Hold on one second. I don't know what happened. Actually, the internet just popped off and went off. Basically, uh, in which I think is just starting to get back up, in which I can get to my usual. What's good, Eric? What's good? What's going on? What you found? Glad to have information with me this morning as I continue to try to get this up and back running. I don't know what happened. Just as as of course, as I hit the live button and got ready to tap in after the intro, it just went kaput. But in any case, we're gonna continue to rock with it. What's good? What's good, Seven? What's going on? Nah, Eric. He has it, man. He surely has it. So I don't know what's good with Bishop. I'm gonna have to check on him and maybe message him and see. Maybe it might be something a little more than just having the postpartum Super Bowl blues. So I'll have to hit him up and see, make sure everything is all right, is okay. Um, Let me see. Uh, Eric said he'll be back on Friday. That might be the plan. I don't know, man. I have to see. By fact, while we sitting here, while I have another hand, let's see something. It's alright. It's okay. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, here we go. I'm scared to get back on the other system. Um, See, here we go again. But in case, let's get to cracking. Of course, I completely got lost in the translation. But uh, anyway, anywho, a couple of things, just easy things to talk about when we're referencing uh, NFL, NBA. I'm trying to figure out. I'm going through in my head which one I was going to actually kick off with uh, to see. Hold on. Why is it so dark? What is going on? Okay, there we go. Cooking with oil. Not today, Satan. That's what we're going to see. We're going to say, not today, Satan. So, like I was saying, and I was trying to get out there that to Seven, my man Seven Mitchell, going to definitely have to have you back on next week so we can talk about how the people in which I selected did damage. I remember all the laughter and all the side talking, side eyeing when I selected Drew Holiday. We're just gonna put that in, until we get there. We're gonna put a cap in that. So definitely looking forward to having Seven come back through, chop it up with us, go over the NBA All Star game. I'll have to see if he's available to do that, to recap what and how I got down on All Star Sunday this coming weekend actually. So, matter of fact, actually, that's where I would start. We will start there with NBA. As I get to it, let me pull up some scores, a little bit different operating from a couple of different systems, but we're gonna make it work. In any case, the band is gonna keep the party going. Let me see. How was everyone's? Yes, sir. Got you, Seven. Appreciate it, fam. Definitely, thank you, appreciate it. So how was y'all while I get loaded up a different way? How was everyone's Valentine's Day? Of course, you know what I'm saying. Just figuring how everyone got down for their Valentine's Day. All right, hopefully we good. What I'm going to do is keep this going. All right, sorry about that, everyone. I can't say it. Hate it when the plane goes awry. But back to what I was saying, what we was talking about. Let's get to the scores from yesterday, keeping in the NBA spirit. Last night, a couple of games that got played, 5 to be exact. Got a small slate for today and tomorrow. Then, of course, it'll be a break in between in the season to get back cracking on the 23rd. So last night, a total of 5 games. Top playing candidates. Top. So where do we start? Round and round. My wheel goes where it stops. Nobody knows. Let's start here with the Phoenix Suns. I see you. Yes, Anthony. Currently, I'm alone this morning. Maybe like we might have a sighting. I don't know. I hit a bishop and make sure everything's good. Hopefully everything is all good. Like I said, it could be some of that time is gut wrenching, man. It really is, especially when you got to eat a lot of. You got to go back and eat words. You got to formulate words. You got to figure out what is the best protocol for what it is to say. So I mean, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there was a family emergency or something which happened, which he has to take care of. So we'll see soon. Hopefully we respond back and I'll be able to hear and say, I don't know if y'all seen him on social media or anything like that reacting. If you follow him on any of the social media, just hit him up. Be like, hey, bro, you okay? Tap in, you know what I'm saying? What's good, Coach Kyle? What's good? Glad to have your formation with us this morning. Glad to see y'all all. As I was just talking about, last night, the Phoenix Suns hosted the Sacramento Kings. We know the Suns are currently without their new acquisition, Kevin Durant, as he still continues to recover from his NCL strain. But of course, he's there. He's going to be expected to be there. So interestingly enough, I know one thing in which in that fact of the matter, Devin Booker is ecstatic. He's glad that he's actually back in the fold when it comes to it. So he's ecstatic. He's looking forward to going at it and having them back in. Of course, you know they teamed up before in the NBA, uh, the not the NBA, the USA men's team, select team. So they've played together before, and they had an affinity for one another there. So they are ready to go and ready to get it back in and 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 team up. So he can't wait. Kevin Devin Booker's like it's good things to come. In any case, they faced off against the Sacramento Kings last night, in which they were victorious by a score of 120 to 109. In the losing efforts, De'Aaron Fox, All-Star De'Aaron Fox, Trey All-Star team, De'Aaron Fox, 35 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists from yet another Trey All-Star, DeMontis Sabonis, 18.3 rebounds, 2 assists from Kevin Huerter. Terrence Davis contributed with 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. 11 points, 2 rebounds from Harrison Barnes. Kingaberry with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists on the night. 4.7 rebounds contributed from Trey Lyles. Kessler Edwards with 1 rebound, 2 assists. 1 assist from Chimis and Metu. Davian Mitchell with 1 rebound. Of course, like I said, all in the losing efforts. As you know, the Suns double from DeAndre Ayton's 29 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists from Devin Booker, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists from Josh Okogie. Torrey Craig contributed with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 19 assists from Chris Paul, point guard. 5 points, 2 rebounds, TJ Warren. Saving lead contributed with 7 points and 1 assist on the night. Ish Wainwright did have 3 assists, as well as Jacques Landale with 2 rebounds and 1 assist, all for the winning Phoenix Suns. With that W, the Suns improved to 32-27 on the year. The Sacramento Kings 32-25, of course, keeping in the middle of the pack in the NBA. In the West, and yet the beat goes on. I'm very sure the Phoenix fans can't wait to get KD in the building. Looking forward to having him and being able to play. We're going to see how that turns out. Is KD going to help to wield them to yet another championship? Of course, I believe that's what the rhetoric is that they're going to basically they're the front runners right now. We'll see if that all comes to fruition. There's a lot of NBA games still to be played, and there's 29 other teams that are vying for the same thing. Some a little closer than others. We never know what the outcome or if they could pick up. Of course, other game last night, the Los Angeles Clippers hosted the Golden State Warriors, in which there was much to be said, I guess you could say, in a sense. Sometimes you have people that speak in reference to their team. Draymond Green is not the exception to that. He got on and talked about how it's a certain type defense takes a certain type of individual, and he feels that they're lacking that currently as a squad when it comes to a defensive effort. It takes drive, and he's like they lack that drive. Last night, the Warriors competed. I guess you could say competed, losing by the score is 134-124 to the Los Angeles Clippers in Los Angeles in their losing efforts. The Warriors were led by Jordan Poole's 28 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists. 18 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists from Klay Thompson. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist from Jonathan Kuminga. Ty Jerome contributed with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists from Draymond Green. Dante DiVincenzo, 10 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. Kevin Moody with the double-double, 11 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist. And JaMychal Green contributed with 2 points, 1 rebound. 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Moses Moody, 7 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist on the night. The Clippers, no huge dealing at the deadline, but it's bringing back former Clipper Eric Gordon, bringing him back in the fold. Of course, we know they did bring in Mason Plumlee, who I think is a serviceable backup now. Of course, center to help out Ivica Zubac, who isn't bad in my opinion as well, but led by Kawhi Leonard, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists on the night, 20 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists from Paul George, 24 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist from Norman Powell. Eric Gordon, contributed with 7 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists from Mason Plumlee. Point guard, nice Sean Highland. We all know him as Bones. Another player picked up from the trade, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Clippers, Staples, Nicholas Batum, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 points from Amir Coffey, 2 points from Brandon Boston. Ivica Zubac, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and Marcus Morris Sr., 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist on were victorious. Now 32-28 on the season is getting ready to get into the All-Star break. The Golden State Warriors still sitting at 500, teeter-tottering here and there with a 29-29 record, but enough to keep them above water currently. Another game that took place last night, the Orlando Magic were hosted by the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors, Pascal Siakam, putting in and doing work to ensure that they did get the game, the victory, winning by 10 points, 123-113 over the Orlando Magic. With that loss, the Magic dropped to 24-35. Not too bad for the Magic when you look at the rest of the field. Those usually bottom dwellers teams, the Magic is above that. Of course, led by Wendell Carter Jr.'s 26.6 rebounds and 5 assists, 24 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists from Jalen Suggs. Paolo Banchero contributed with 13 points, 1 rebounds, 3 assists, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists from Markelle Fultz. 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist from Bo. Gary Harris contributed with 6 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 5 points from Caleb Houston. Morris Wagner contributed with 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And Franz Wagner, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. For the Raptors, they were led by Jakob Platos, 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists from Pascal Siakam. A double-double from Precious Achiuwa with 11 points, 13 rebounds, 17.6 rebounds, 6 assists from last year's Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. A double-double for Fred VanVleet, 10 points, 15 assists, 13 points, 4 rebounds from Chris Boucher. Malachi Flynn, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist for Delano Batten, and Jeff Dowling contributed with 1 rebound. Thaddeus Young, 4 points on the night with the Toronto Raptors. Victorious, moving to 28-31 a year, just 3 games below 500. And the Magic, 24-35. Not completely out the woods yet, but, I mean, they have a chance. They still have a chance, at least to get midway as we get ready to get into it. 2 more games, of course. One being the leading teams in the East face off against each other. But before we get to that, the Washington Wizards were hosted by the Portland Trailblazers on the West Coast in Portland, in which the Wizards did hella damage. 126-101, 25-point drubbing. In my opinion, the Portland Trailblazers led by a double-double from their star, Damian Lillard, scoring 39 points. He just gave the Lakers a 40-piece a night and a half ago. Night before last. He comes back with a 30. I guess someone stole a piece of chicken out the box. 39 piece to the Wizards with 10 rebounds and 6 assists to go along with that. I guess that's the sides. 18 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist from Cam Reddish. 17 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Anthony Simons. Shaden Sharp with 14 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. 4 points from Trenton Walford. 3 points, Jabari Walker. 1 point, Nasir Little. If we start to look at it, it doesn't add up to enough. Matisse Thybulle, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Drew Eubanks, 3 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. Not enough, as the Wizards blistering with their 3 players in double figures. 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists from Kyle Kuzma. 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists from Kristaps Porzingis. Bradley Beal contributed 19 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. 10 points from Kendrick Nunn. 6 points, Monte Morris. 2 points apiece from Daniel Gafford, DJ Avdija, Vernon Carey Jr., and Anthony Gill. Jonathan Davis, 3 points on the night. Taj Gibson, 6 points, 1 rebound. Corey Kispert contributed with 5 points, 3 rebounds. Jalen Wright, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. Lastly, Monte Morris, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. So Sharp caught a body last night, as Coach Cal was pointing out. And maybe that had him, guided him to the point where he's like, you know what? I got embarrassed. But we got the win. You know, last night we had our intramurals, like we had the intramurals for Fort Polk, and it was almost a baptism there. I don't know what my man was thinking. It was a break. It was a kick out, an outlet pass. My man got out in front of the field, and I guess, you know what I'm saying, defensive effort, defense wins ball games, or at least it's a possibility. Well, I guess, yes, defense win ball game because that team ended up winning. But he got out in front of him, and what happened was my man was a jump shooter. All night he was knocking down trays. Actually, he put up 21 points last night in a losing effort. But it's probably with some times in which ball should have been in his hands towards the waning moments, coming down to it. But in this particular instance, like I said, the outlet got kicked out. He was off and running a couple of jumps, and you definitely didn't think he had that type of get up. And so the defender went ahead and tried to challenge it from the back once he seen that he got up there, and he shouldn't have tried. I guess it was a conservative effort. I guess it ended up it worked out in his favor because maybe because of his contest, the guy tried to throw it down to get like that, maybe to emphasize it, and he caught it off the back rim. Of course, it came back out, but the dude jumped and he didn't realize that when they both jumped, it was definitely one of those like I probably shouldn't have done this, or I just realized I messed up. But he wasn't able to convert it. And so there was no reason, but everyone looked like, okay, you know now. Everyone knows now, if you jump, you know what you may get. So you got to keep a couple of people in the league that got that type of jump. Yeah, there is. There it is. And this guy, he wasn't expected. Like, I didn't think he was a jump. Once I saw the ball kicked out, Cal, I was like, okay. I was like, this is his thing. I was like, I wonder what he's going to do with it. So I'm sitting there just taking, like, I do my assistant does the scoreboard. I do the books. And so I'm sitting there looking like, okay, you know what I'm saying? All right. Was maybe a layup. But he tried to catch a body. And it probably would have even brung his teammates would have been like, yo. So when he came off the sideline, I was like, but you thought he was just a jump shooter? And he was like, I didn't even realize. He's like, I just jumped. And he's like, someone was like, yeah, he tried to get 2 hands. No, if he would have went 2 hands, he would have put it down. This one actually, Coach Cal, only a couple cats that during our intramurals that will consistently put it down. Like there's only been a few. No one has been dunked on yet. In the sense, but we don't have some people that you shouldn't jump with. And plus, I think you've seen some of them because some of them play on the varsity levels team. But it's some bodies being caught, some baptisms definitely, or the ability to have some baptisms, whole church on the court. And only a few of them play on like you said, on the Fort Polk team. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I just sit back and watch it like, okay. Um, but moving on, of course, like we was just talking about last night, game against the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. We all know, of course, they're vying for the number one spot. As we talked earlier yesterday, um, the Celtics are currently a game and a half in front of the Boston Celtics. I mean, Boston Celtics are currently a game and a half. Were currently a game and a half in front of the Milwaukee Bucks, in which last night's game was going to definitely put them even a game behind, or two games behind, or a game just a half game behind. Of course, the latter is what happened, as the Milwaukee Bucks were able to pull off the W with a 131 to 125 win. However, some things come into play for me. Like, it wasn't an easy win. The end state. Boston was hella shorthanded, very shorthanded, missing all their top players for the most part, against a Milwaukee squad, which was taken to overtime. Of course, in the losing effort, like I said, the Boston Celtics were led by Derek White's 27 points, 2 rebounds, 12 assists, 26 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists from Malcolm Brogdon off the bench, 15 points apiece from Sam Hauser, as well as Blake Griffin, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists from Griffin. Hauser contributed with 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. 18 points, 8 rebounds from Mike Muscala, their new acquisition. Grant Williams contributed with a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists on the night. 6 points apiece from Robert Williams the third, who did not start and only played 13 minutes. He's in the restriction currently. And additionally, 6 points from Peyton Pritchard in 14 minutes of play. You notice no Horford, no Smart, no Tatum, no Brown. And yet they gave the Bucks all they could handle, which makes you kind of put things in perspective a little bit. Like, what's that going to be like going down the stretch for the Bucks? Drew Holiday's 40 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists powered their team. Shout out to Drew Holiday on Trey's All-Star team. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 36 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, one short of a triple-double. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists from Grayson Allen. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists from Chris Middleton. Joe Ingles contributed with 8.6 rebounds, 3 assists. Javon Carter, 9 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists from Wesley Matthews. Brooke Lopez, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And Pat Connaughton, 5 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, all to get the win. What was won in overtime, as the Bucks pull off a 15 to 9 overtime output. Milwaukee Bucks gets the win, now improving to 40-17 on the year. Just now a half a game behind the Celtics, as they still hold that lead with a 41-17 output. So with that being said, of course, some things talked about Giannis in the post game. Basically spoke to and said he doesn't care where they are in the finals or in the standings. He's like, they're not concerned about earning the 1 seed. As we know, last year the Boston Celtics took, or let's say the Milwaukee Bucks took the Boston Celtics to a 7-game series, in which Boston was able to win the series on their home court due to they had the 1 seed and an advantage, home court advantage, to go on to play against the Golden State Warriors and fall to the Warriors 4-2. So now you look at it. I don't know. Is there reason to be concerned when you look at it? Like, they didn't have their top 4 players, and their fifth, and who's usually their starter, sat the bench, and they had problems with them. Giannis was there. Not to mention, let's not because currently the Milwaukee Bucks are on a 12-game win streak, and that 12-game win streak began when Chris Middleton came back into the fray. So, of course, there's a lot to be hopeful for. Currently, Milwaukee is without their current player in Bobby Portis. He's out. Jay Crowder was acquired in the midseason trade or the trade deadline trade. So he's currently not there. He's not due to come back appear until after the All-Star break. So basically in 2 weeks. So it might not be, maybe what we seen last night was not a complete and clear representation of the Milwaukee Bucks squad versus a Boston squad that was without their top players. We know they said Jason Tatum had an illness. We all know Jaylen Brown has a facial fracture, which he's dealing with. And then, of course, Al Horford calf injury, ankle injury for Marcus Smart. So it remains to be seen, but that showing probably wasn't the best when you look at it for for the Milwaukee Bucks. But in any case, they did get the win. Yeah, Hauser can shoot. He got a strap on him. Cornelius CC, he definitely has a strap on him. And which, of course, shooting, I wish LA would have got their hands on him. But I digress. But it has yet to be seen. Of course, a nice slate of games tonight, 10 games to be exact, as we will see the Indiana Pacers host the Chicago Bulls. The Charlotte Hornets are due to host the San Antonio Spurs. The Brooklyn Nets look to host the Miami Heat. The 76ers, who just acquired, bought out center Dwayne Dedmon, bringing him back into the fold to bolster their backcourt. Their front court. Their backcourt with Joel to give Joel Embiid some relief. So he's back in the building. They will host the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. The Atlanta Hawks to host the New York Knicks. Boston Celtics on their back-to-back to do battle with the Detroit Pistons. The Memphis Grizzlies will be hosting the Utah Jazz. OKC Thunder to host the Houston Rockets. The Denver Nuggets hosting the new look Mavericks. And the Los Angeles Lakers to host the Pelicans, currently still without Zion Williamson. The Lakers seemingly still without LeBron James. So we should see how this goes. As we know, the Pelicans started that loss slid that the Lakers had. Lakers would get one game after that, and then came back and lost two more. So, lost one and then lost one and then lost two. So hopefully they're able to avenge that loss from February 4th on their home court tonight, taking care of business against the Pelicans. For the standings currently, like we said, the Boston Celtics narrowly hold on to a half-game lead over the Celtics. Over the Bucks as they get ready just 2 games before the beginning of the All-Star break. The Milwaukee Bucks, of course, come in at number 2. At number 3, the 76ers. 4, the Cavaliers. At number 5, we got the Brooklyn Nets. At number 6, the Miami Heat. And then for the play-in currently, we have the New York Knicks in the 7th spot. The 8th spot belongs to the Atlanta Hawks. At number 9, the Toronto Raptors. And at number 10, the Washington Wizards, who got a little separation with the win last night in Portland, putting a 1-game separation between them and the Chicago Bulls, who are currently at the 11th seed. When you look at it, from the 10th seed to the first seed, a 13.5 game disparity. Of course, it'll take the rest of the season for the Wizards to eat that ground up. But if they were just looking at, I just need to catch the person in front of me. They are currently tied with the Toronto Raptors with the opportunity to move forward. 4.5 games out for the Miami Heat. to catch them in the 6th spot. On the Western front, the Nuggets hold on to a 5-point lead over the Memphis Grizzlies. The Sacramento Kings come in at number 3. The Suns are surging at number 4. The Clippers doing the same at number 5. The Dallas Mavericks currently sitting at the 6th seed, just ahead of the Pelicans, who are a half game behind them. Opportunity to tie, or depending on what Cornelius said, as sorry as the Wizards are, they are. Everyone's in contention though, because see, that's like the most interesting thing. We spoke about this. I talked about this earlier at the beginning of the season. Like, what is the odds of these teams, like just being bunched and jumbled for the whole season? And presumably, that's what we look like we might have. We might have a situation where everyone is just going to come new teeth and nail, fighting it out, trying to sit up and get in. Everyone's bunched up. The Mavericks, like I said, currently clinging to a half-game win, a lead. They can sit up and extend that lead with a win tonight over the Nuggets, who are the top seed in the West, or they can sit up and lose ground, maybe even be jumped if the Pelicans are able to take care of business against the Lakers, and the Nuggets take care of business against the Mavericks. Timberwolves also a half game out of that 6th spot. The Warriors a game and a half out of the 6th spot at the 9 seed, and then 2 games for the Jazz at the 10 seed. Of course, behind them, the Jazz are being chased by the Trailblazers, who are a half game behind them at the 11th seed. The Lakers currently sit 2.5 games behind the 10th seed to get into the play-in, and yet only 4 games behind the Mavericks for that. 4.5 games behind the Mavericks for that 6th seed. So everyone has a play in for the most part. It's just they got to string some wins together. It's starting to look a little dismal for the Lakers. Get a little further and further behind to get out of the play-in, but you just to sit up and survive, you got to get in which currently they are, like I said, only 3 games behind. 2.5 games behind the Jazz, 3 games behind the the Warriors, and 4 games behind the Pelicans and Timberwolves. And it all starts tonight. It can all start tonight with a dub versus the Pelicans. Gives them a little leeway to close the gap in a little bit. So, of course, look forward to that, seeing it. And then tomorrow night will be the last of the games before starting the beginning of the NBA, the All-Star weekend. All the top stars in the NBA potentially traveling to Utah to be with the brethren as they compete in the different competitions, of course, in which that was finally named, or we already know what the All-Star team would look like for the most part, or who the candidates are. We do know that a couple of people were replaced for All-Star. You have, of course, Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry were replaced by Lauri Markkanen, De'Aaron Fox, and Pascal Siakam. Additionally, who else was replaced? Those are replacements. And then potentially, I think we might have more. I don't know. We have to take a look at it. Additionally, we all know that the field was selected for the Rising Stars, as we have teams, 3 teams from the NBA composed of the NBA rookies and sophomore players, and then you have a team of 7 that are composed from the G League affiliates, which of course those 2 teams will play each other to a designated score, and then we'll come back in the championship game. The winners play each other in the championship game to determine a Rising Star champion. Then we, of course, NBA Saturday. skills challenge in which Giannis Antetokounmpo will be playing, as they say, double headering. He's going to be playing as he teams up with his brothers, uh, Alex and Thynis Antetokounmpo, to form a skills challenge team. They will face off against the Cleveland. They will face off against a Utah Jazz squad that will be composed of Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. And lastly, a team of rookies composed of Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith, and Jaden Ivey from the Detroit um, Pistons, in which they're going to compete in 4 rounds of competition. First, them involving the shooting, passing, and relay between the 3 teams, and then the top 2 teams will go on afterwards and will compete to see who can get the fastest half-court shot to decide a winner. So that will end the skills challenge. From the skills challenge, of course, we go to the 3-point shootout, in which we're going to have to see this weekend, Friday. We're going to we'll give a competition who I think is going to win all the competitions, from the skills challenge to the All-Star game to well, we already know who I think is going to win the All-Star game. I mean, but 3-point challenge as well as slam dunk contest. For the 3-point contest, of course, we have Buddy Hield, the 2020 winner, comes back to make another appearance versus the field of 8, other field of 7, in which he'll face off against his teammate Tyrese Halliburton, the duo in Portland of Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons. Tyler Hero is going to be in the 3-point shootout, as well as Kevin Huerter, Laurie Markkanen, and lastly Jason Tatum to face off in the 3-point contest. And then the dunk contest. Some new names, of course, not what we're used to, but Kenyon Martin from Houston will compete, as well as Trey Murphy from the New Orleans Pelicans, and lastly Jericho Sims from the New York Knicks, and Mac McClung of McDonald's All-American Slam Dunk Champion fame will compete in this year's Slam Dunk contest. If you watch Mac McClung, coming from a high school student, even a couple of times in college, the boy got some giddy up. So we'll see if Mac McClung can slay that dragon and become victorious in the slam dunk contest, as he is playing for the subsidiary to the Philadelphia 76ers in the G League. So we'll see how Mac McClung does in the slam dunk contest. So, of course, we have that scheduled from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not sure if they're going to have the Celebrity All-Star game or not, or remains to be seen for that. But we do have everything else under the sun that's basically going on in regards to the rest of the team showing up. Let me see before I move on. 1 second. Where we at? Give it away. Nothing seems to be working correctly this morning. What's good, Frat? What's going on, bro? What's going on with you? How's everything going? Additionally, okay, I knew it was a couple of things that was still left in the NBA or basketball for that most part. So, Bronny James has been selected as one of 12 individuals to be a part of the Nike Hoop Summit Team USA, in which now it seems like Bronny is starting to pick up steam late in his, I guess, senior year. He's currently the 26th ranked player for the college. So obviously he is doing something, climbing the stats, climbing the what's good, sis? What's going on, Khalif? Glad to have your information with us this morning. How you doing? But he's obviously kind of climbing the stats and doing some good things. He's a part of the USA Team USA. He is the only person on the Team USA squad that has not made a selection or is not committed to a college. As we know, Ohio State, Oregon, and USC are heavy contenders to win his services to play at least what may be just one season in college if he decides to go. Um, so yeah, I'm very sure that's going to be coming soon for him to announce where he will be going to college at. We know teams of old are not the same. Coach K is gone. Kentucky still has their same coach, so it remains to be seen. Or even if those blue bloods is worth it going, Ohio State could be one to play. Well, for what would it be? So he doesn't have to play because his dad doesn't have an alma mater. So that's not even in question. He can go play for his dad's home team, even though he's from Akron, and that's not the Zips isn't one of the teams that's being pursued. But Ohio State, of course, where he currently sits, UCLA, USC, Cal, even potentially Sacramento, Stanford. Go up the street to Oregon, where he'll probably get a lot of accolades, probably a huge NIL deal waiting for him just in that 1 year. Although would it be foreseeable for me as a business person to want to commit an NIL deal to Ronnie in college when he's only going to be there 1 year? Do I want to sit up and would you want to, as a business owner, attach yourself to him in college when he's only going to be there 1 year? To sit up and utilize that as a basically a floater. It's like, okay, let me catch lightning in a bottle on this guy for this 1 year he's in college to get my brand out there, to contribute my brand, to push my brand. I'm very sure there's some people that's out there doing it. Maybe some are open to doing it, or maybe they've already set a plan, like we're gonna go after him with the plan of paying him X amount of dollars to uh, be a spokesperson for our brand. Why put playing at whatever institution it is that he chooses? So it remains to be seen. I'm very sure there's some people out there that's pitching to him as he gets ready to get to college to find out what college he goes to, or once he selects a college, then the people in that vicinity are going to be like, okay, they're going to get to it. Oregon, we already know, is heavily backed by Nike in that brand, so of course that's a dark horse. I'm not even a dark horse. I'm pretty sure that's a favorite. USC smack dab in the middle of Los Angeles, to where there's probably going to be a plethora of people that's looking to attach themselves to that wagon. And then Ohio State, just off the fanfare and stuff like that, might be willing to do the same. So we shall see. He might want to go a different route and be like, I want to do something different for which my dad did or what he's involved with, and he might just do something completely different. He might end up at McNeese State, LSU, or any of those. So it remains to be seen. But like I said, currently Bronny James is one of the top picks for the Nike Hoop Summit. So he's going to get a chance to see firsthand what some of the international players are in his current wheelhouse, and potentially who he may or may not have to play up against in coming years. So that remains to be seen. So now, of course, before we move on into a little conversation with the football, here we are a week after the movements of players have been bounced around. So, of course, the NBA via ESPN has come out with a power rankings, top 30 power rankings after the movements, of course, yet still with the loss of Aaron Gordon, of course, and continue losses. Houston Rockets remain at number 30, at number 29. Cornelius asked the other day, is it pop or is it the players that has been a success in San Antonio? Maybe it is the players and not necessarily pop. We should see, of course, like I said, they're 14-4 currently ranked 29 in ESPN power rankings. At number 28, the Detroit Pistons. At 27, the Charlotte Hornets. At 26, the Indiana Pacers. At number 25, the Orlando Magic. The Chicago Bulls at 24. Dismal for a team that has that type of talent. At number 23, the Washington Wizards. Another team with talent but no progression, seemingly. The Los Angeles Lakers come in at number 22. At 21, the Toronto Raptors. Utah Jazz at number 20. At number 19, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 18, the Portland Trailblazers, who I think are moving along quietly and steadily when you look at it. We don't hear much about Chauncey Billups and his coaching out in Oregon. At number 17, the Atlanta Hawks. At 16, the Golden State Warriors. At number 15, the New Orleans Pelicans. At number 14, the Minnesota Timberwolves. At 13, the Brooklyn Nets come in. 12, the New York Knicks. At number 11, the Los Angeles Clippers as we move into the top 10. At number 10, we have the Miami Heat with newly minted star Bam Adebayo doing damage. At number 9, the Dallas Mavericks. At number 8, the Sacramento Kings. Coming into the top 7 being Memphis at number 7. Number 6, the the Phoenix Suns. At number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers. 6, the Philadelphia 76ers. 3, the Denver Nuggets. After holding on to the top for a little bit, they fall. Of course, I'm very sure number 2 being the Milwaukee Bucks. And number 1, the Boston Celtics still hold the top seed at the number 1 spot. And probably going to be there a little even after they're removed, if possible. Actually, I don't think if they're caught by the Milwaukee Bucks, it'll probably be a short lived. I would think that they're going to jostle back between number 1 and number 2 for the rest of the season. Even maybe Denver Nuggets getting in at number 3. I think the Philadelphia 76ers have a possibility as well of making a move. Coach Cal with the Luka and Kyrie should have a better night tonight. I think they will match up well with Denver. In what way, Coach Cal? I'm just wondering. So, from a backcourt standpoint, front court standpoint, Luka and Kyrie. Hey, what's good, Coach Ryan? Glad to have your information with us this morning, sir. How you doing? In some way, Luka and Kyrie, I think, are better than Murray. Of course, that's the guy. That's the main guy. Jokic, their go-to guy, is slow, so we don't need to worry about fast breaks as much. That has been our issue with Luka on the court. Fast breaks, getting out. So true. I mean, yeah, but have y'all faced off against anybody that basically has their center that's mainly their playmaker? So yes, he's not going to push the ball in transition, but outlets, kickouts, or when he gets set in the half court offense to be able to dish and rebound as well as score. You don't think that's going to be something more than what Dallas can? I'm very sure Kyrie makes a difference. Christian Wood, of course, is back in the fray, so he makes a difference. I know Dallas had to make a move, but that West is so deep now. Yeah, very deep now, Coach. What makes it harder, which could make it harder for Denver. So, I think a clear litmus test tonight will be what we can see against Dallas, or at least that's the test for Dallas to see how they match up. And Coach Kyle believes they're going to be good tonight. Where they might be potentially, they might be able to hold a good court against them. I don't think that Luka and Kyrie are going to win many games together. Too busy behind each other, and that's what it looked like the other night. Matter of fact, speaking of that, Coach Kyle, what was up the other night? The passing back and forth between Luka and Kyrie, is it there? Do you think it's been a clear case of who should? Like, there obviously wasn't a case in where one was basically basically allowed the other, trying to figure out who was going to take the winning shot, in which a shot wasn't taken at all. Do you think they have rectified that? is it Kyrie's team? Is it Luka's team? I know we were supposed to say it was Luka's team. True that they were poor space. It really was. I do agree with that. Also, a horrible play call and poor sub. There definitely was a poor spacing in the, especially the waning moments of that game, because it's like Luka and Kyrie were right on top of each other, but it's like, here, you take it. No, you take it. And then when Kyrie finally got to the middle, he tried to get a pass off and couldn't get it off. Delay a game, or the delay of the game, or the delay of the game clock, and they lose. Whose squad is it? Luka wants the load taken off. Kyrie doesn't want the overstep. This is where coaching comes into play. Jason King asked to fix this, and that's why I'm wondering. Like, I wonder, did it get fixed after that game? Because it was clear and concise. Like, you don't know or didn't know who was supposed to be the person taking the shot. And I think this is something discussed. Of course, same thing was talked about on the Best of Seven podcast with Seven Mitchell, to where it's like it would look like there's no clear, concise understanding of who is the leader of that team. That's because he can't get in the game on the final play over Theo Pinson. We have issues. But should Christian have been Christian Wood? We know Christian Wood is a bucket. Is that what they needed at that particular time, or did they need defense? Like, what was it? Like, it's just, I wonder. I would think that they have it composed and figured out now. I'm very sure coach has gotten with Luka, has gotten with Kyrie, and like sat them both down and talked about, like, bruh, what is going on? Okay, you talking about I thought you were talking about. I was speaking more so to that the last possession which they had, but you say they need offensive threats for spacing. I got you, coach. So, but yeah, when it came down to it, it just looked like it was just a whole debacle in which you got talent for the most part, and you don't even get a shot off. When I looked at it and seen it, my first thing was like, yo, is it just the Luka and Kyrie show? But obviously, when you go back and you look at it again, at the end of it, it was like, who's going to take the final shot? Who needs the ball in their hands? And that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things I bring up. Is that a Christian problem? To where maybe that was what they went with Theo Pinson or McGee instead of, as opposed to choosing their prowess for defensive to get boards over Christian Wood's shooting ability and floor spacing. So, I mean, but I guess, like you said, hopefully it should be a different look tonight. But it's not an easy task. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray. The roster is pretty deep itself, in which we can probably see if what it really looked like. He said he's definitely leaving the Sun. I'm saying it here first. Jason Kidd would not be in charge of this team in the near future. So it's funny you say that, Coach. I would agree based on now they have Luka and Kyrie, but I don't think Kyrie's going to be there next season. I really honestly, as I sit up and look at the lay of the land, because of course Kyrie has been saying, like, it's distracting to ask the question, is he going to be in Dallas long term? It's distracting for what he said. Do we see a possibility of Kyrie? I know we have D'Angelo Russell now. Do you see a possibility of Kyrie being a Laker next year? After serving out playing 1 year in Dallas, is it a possibility that Kyrie goes ahead and moves on to LA? Oh, he said on our watch, they don't have any we won't. But Kyrie doesn't need anybody. He's a free agent. Kyrie will be a free agent next year. He's playing out his last year. He was trying to get the extension in Brooklyn, in which they wasn't talking about anything. So he'll be a free agent next year. Oh, he wants a max. Maybe he changes his tune if he thinks he could go in LA and win and be in glamour and glitz. So, But I surely hope he don't go to Phoenix, like you said. To where, that would be gut wrenching to put Kyrie in Phoenix with Booker and KD. Come on, and Aiden. Oh my gosh, and possibility of maybe keeping uh um Chris Paul. Like I feel you on that, Coach. I'd rather him stay. If that's the case, if he ain't coming to LA, I'd rather him stay in Dallas. If that was the case, like we don't need him in Phoenix. And the way Ishba is working as an owner, it might be something which KD and Kyrie can talk him into. I mean, KD and they might be able to talk him into. Like, hey, come, let's go, bro. Let's run it. He said you want the max. Coach Rod says to truly believe they bought Kyrie in for a sign and trade in the offseason. The bigger issue has always been Jason Kidd's ability to coach star talent. He struggled in Brooklyn, Milwaukee. We're seeing the same thing in Dallas. It definitely remains to be seen, Coach Uriah, because at this point, this is probably his last ditch effort. We don't want to package around CP3. It better include CP3 and some trap picks, bleed him. Ain't no one gonna be able to get away with that, Coach Cal. It's really unfortunate. Like Kyrie is gonna be the the season's top asset. And you just planted that seed. If him going to Phoenix, man, oh my gosh. Him going to Phoenix and someone like Chris Paul taking the because I think at this point, Chris Paul wants a championship and he's on his last leg. If you can get Kyrie in the building and Chris Paul, I don't know what his I would have to pull up his contract to see where he's at in and how much he's owed and how much longer he's got. But you can get someone like Chris Paul to restructure a contract or take some money down to bring a Kyrie in. Of course, he's not going to get the max, so Kyrie would basically have to take some money off. A lot of people have to lose some money in order for it to happen to bring Kyrie in, I believe. Let me see if I can pull up their contracts real quick to see what Phoenix is looking like on their end. But we talk about this all the time lately where we talk about how players decide to get together, play with one another. Is it feasible to say that this could be a huge turnaround in building a new culture in Cleveland if they can get Kyrie Irving to sign there next year? I'm not for it. The NBA might need it. I don't need it. I don't want to see that. Let me see. Where are they at currently? Saban Lee is where they owe money to, about $4 million in cap holds. They're currently paying the 48, almost $50 million in luxury tax. Currently 52 million in the whole in the salary cap. So yeah, we don't have nothing to worry about, and we definitely don't. Not taking Bane to AD. Why we gotta bring AD into this conversation? AD's not going nowhere. Okay, I see you, Cal, Coach Cal. But yeah, so they're 52 million. Phoenix is 52 million in the cap in the salary cap hole. So yeah, it's not looking good. What do they owe? They just brought in, of course, Kevin Durant. He's owed 64 million on his contract. Devin Booker's owed he just signed the max, so he's owed his full 294 million basically. And he's that's guaranteed and remaining still. DeAndre Ayton just signed 132 million, so that's all owed. Chris Paul is owed 89 million. And how many years does Chris Paul have of this contract left? Chris Paul's contract was 4 years, 120 million. So, but okay, only part of that is guaranteed next year. He's due 30 million next year. He's not guaranteed the year after that, and he's an unrestricted free agent in 2025. So we could see there could be some movement on Paul. They could have to trade him away, but who's picking up a $30 million price tag? He's owed $60 million. Yeah, I don't know. KD and Kyrie and Booker and Aiden would be the next Warriors super team. That would be that part. You will see, like you just said, key current term in that is KD. No way Aiden's still on that team with Kyrie unless Kyrie not taking the max. We won't help them like that. Yeah, we have to be. It definitely would have to be a sign and trade. Chris Paul is due to make is guaranteed 15 million, 16 million. And then it becomes fully guaranteed 30. The other part of that 30 million becomes guaranteed on June the 28th of this year. So if he's not moved by then it becomes fully guaranteed on then. And then of course his 2024 salary of is not fully guaranteed. But it becomes fully guaranteed in 2024. So it looks like they got outs, of course. It looked like they got outs. So it remains to be seen. While I'm here, let me check out what is going on in Dallas as we're speaking on it. Coach Cal, Dallas Mavericks. Stop it, Anthony. I think those days that has set sail. We're not seeing that any longer. That's not going to happen. Let's see. Kyrie is only owed 13 million, so that's not. So he's playing for 13 million this year with Dallas. Luka just signed his extension, 215 million. He accounts for 30% of the league's. He accounts for 21% of the Mavericks salary cap. After that, the next person is 53 million owed to Tim Hardaway. Yeah, it's looking like y'all got a doable salary where y'all in the cap. 55 million over the salary cap. Everyone is over the salary cap. Well, not everybody, but they 54 million over the cap. In which possibly can get back to 47 million with the addition of the salary cap at the end of the year. Y'all potentially can lose. Oh, Spencer Dinwiddie is already gone, so you don't have to worry about him. David Beltran, his contract is going to be guaranteed. Let me see where y'all at. Free agents potentially. So currently, the only people that y'all have in Dallas that still be under contract is Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway, Davis Bertans, Maxi Kleber, Reggie Bullock, JaVale McGee, Josh Green, and Jaden Hardy are the only players that y'all have under contract still. So that's 8 players that still be under contract, which will basically put y'all with $11 million in cap space come next year. That's before signing any players. We need to butter up a GM to make a Davis Bertans trade. Oh, it's going to be crazy come next year. Willing and dealing. Put your bid in, coach. Get it like you go pull up at a game or something like that. Start putting your bid in. Is thinking you talking to saying what you think you could do to change or move around the team. Hell, LA ain't no different. We have 6 players now. We have 6 players in the that's in. We have Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba, Jared Vanderbilt, Devin Reed, and Max Christie that are be under contract next year for us. Still, we'd be $2 million over the cap, even with just 6 players on our on our threshold. But of course, we can make some cheap moves. Austin Reeves, Ryan Hachimura. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, throw 5 second-round picks in with Beltrans and with the trick last week. That did the trick last week. I don't think everyone's gonna be looking for second-round picks next year. But I mean, stranger things have happened. Someone might make a deal or two. Someone might take somebody in trades, free agency, make some moves. Getting back into the NFL, as we all know, the NFL currently is in a slight hole. Come next month, the offseason year picks up again for the 23-24 season. A couple of things, right, real quick. When you look at it, which is crazy, is now that I guess you could say the dust has settled, the NFL Super Bowl 57 was the most watched Super Bowl in the past 6 years. That was the most streamed Super Bowl in the past most streamed Super Bowl ever, and it was the most streamed event in the history of Fox Sports. So a couple of kudos in that case, I think you could say. But what's interesting enough, what is different is everyone has something to say about the Rihanna show, right? Everyone was like, everyone saying it was mixed feelings about the Rihanna show. What in-state shows, they lost their defensive and offensive coordinator, actually, but we're going to get to that in a second, Anthony. But in-state, what it shows is Rihanna's Super Bowl show was the most watched Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls. She delivered 118.7 million viewers, which was more than 113 viewers from the Super Bowl. So she delivered 5 million more viewers to her Super Bowl show, Super Bowl halftime show, 13-minute show, as did the everyone watching the Super Bowl. So she has basically surpassed the likes of Katy Perry as well as Lady Gaga in their from their Super Bowl shows. So if it wasn't for her being pregnant, if she had another album dropping, she probably would be good, because historical data states and shows that any artist that does the Super Bowl, their sales numbers improve drastically. So, but shout out to Rihanna, best Super Bowl ever. I wonder, is there any topping that 118 million? Of course, she's a pop star, crossover, I guess, R&B pop, to where it translates well. So I wonder, who can be the next, who will be the next Super Bowl show, and what that would do. Of course, we know the Super Bowl 58 is going to be in Las Vegas. So I think what tends to happen is they go forth and try to find the best niche and best connection that they can. For the most part, a lot of times it has been themed. We do see more or less of rock and things like that. So Las Vegas, you're on the clock. Las Vegas, Nevada. What's coming up next? What will be Apple's? Who is Apple pulling up to or trying to get to do the halftime show in Las Vegas? We'll see as we go forth from there. Additionally, like Anthony was just mentioning and just saying, the Cavaliers, correction, the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals have signed defensive coordinator from the defensive coordinator from the Philadelphia Eagles. Has signed the defensive coordinator from the Eagles. Hold on one second. Let me see what this is. Sorry about that. Coach Sal, Vic Fangio did them dirty. They got desperate looking for intel on how to stop Mahomes, and it backfired. It happens like that. It goes down. It goes down like that. But of course, like I was saying, now uh, the Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon has moved on and has taken the position of head coach with the Arizona Cardinals. We already know just before the Super Bowl, their offensive coordinator Shane Steichen took the head coaching job for the Indianapolis Colts. So now the Eagles would be searching for an offensive and defensive coordinator going forth, which is late in the year when you think about it. It's kind of late. It's kind of like messed up because now they have to, like, all the coordinators that have gone through and have interviewed are no longer available to a degree because the ideal is that I guess there are some offensive coordinators out there. You still have up and comings, different passing coaches and stuff like that, officials. You still have the likes of Byron Leftwich, who is out there. Is that a possibility for a Byron Leftwich Serrani connection in Philadelphia? I know currently the former University of Georgia head offensive coordinator Todd Monken has made his way back to the NFL, in which now he is going to be the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. So they look to get him back into where he improved his offenses over the course of the years when he was in the NFL initially. Then he went to the Georgia, improved the numbers, got a walk on in Stinson Bennett, and turned things around with them. So it remains to be seen. He's back in. He's going to be in Baltimore with the lights to turn things around. But when you look at that, right, in my opinion, Baltimore, is it just so the year in which Lamar Jackson won the MVP trophy was a year in which they had a decent or above average passing game. I mean, above average rush game if it were long amounted with his passing. So, of course, you already know they potentially could institute the franchise tag on Lamar. Hold on one second. So it's a lot going on basically in there, and Portland, not Portland, in Baltimore. But I wonder what would be the outcome. Like, how does that resonate? Ravens should have R.I.B. me as offensive coordinator. I hate to see Georgia had a stacked team. Ravens don't have that. And then that's the part. Like, is it like what's really going on? I see CC said the Ravens should have hired Eric Bieniemy for offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. But I was just getting that. Now maybe is that a potential hire for Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia? He has an open offensive coordinator spot. Is that a possibility for him, or do they promote within? Like, you have a plethora of people that's out there when it comes to, because all the head coaching spots are filled. Every head coach, unless a head coach decides I'm going to retire, all the head coaching spots are filled. Now what remains open is offensive and defensive coordinator, staff, assistants, and roles to be filled for the most part. Who else out there? Was there anyone else out there? Steichen move, Gannon move. With them moving, opens up doors. Head coach, former coach and Lions head coach Jim Caldwell joins the staff at in North Carolina with the Panthers now, and Frank Reich is really putting together like an experienced coaching staff and contributors. So now he has Dom Capers, who is expected to be a advisor to the offense, and now he's added Jim Caldwell, who is going to be an advisor to the offense, defense, and special teams. He's got Evero in as the defensive coordinator. And it remains to be seen if he'll have an offensive coordinator. Once again, no saying names. That's 3 teams that we know needs an offensive coordinator, in which they have the only difference is who's going to go. You don't know what there's going to be in Carolina. You don't know who the quarterback is. You don't know if they're going to continue to try to utilize, grow any of their people in there that's currently in there on their roster, or are they going to go after a veteran in free agency, or are they drafting a quarterback in what was the other teams we just talked about? I'm sorry, it slipped my mind at this time. Oh, and you already know what you get in Philadelphia, so that could be a possibility. Like, who wouldn't want to go to Philadelphia and be an offensive coordinator possibly? And then, of course, lastly, in Philly. Who else is there? Philly, Carolina, and it was one more I thought I had said. But in case, it's positions out there in state. Of course, actually, I do know who also. You also have, and then of course you got other names like Greg Roman. Even he stepped down from his position in Baltimore. Who's to say that he doesn't try for another position? Currently, honestly, Anthony Price. Speaking of you, he's Bieniemy is interviewing for the Washington Commanders position. Greg Roman is expected to interview for the Washington Commanders position. Who else? Scotty Montgomery is interviewing for Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator position. Tampa Bay has offensive coordinator positions open, so it's OC positions that are open there, in which you don't know who is going to end up where. I think Bieniemy's chances are very good, but of course, if Eric Bieniemy moves, now that opens up another OC position in Kansas City. So carousel is not even a word for what's going on and how they're moving around with these positions and putting people in position. And some of them are pretty good. You got Patrick Mahomes potentially, which opening it up. Washington might not be the most engaging one, although you do have Sam Howell, Taylor Heineke, still Carson Wentz is there. Tampa Bay, you don't know who you're going to be getting for a quarterback, but it's getting interesting. I think he's going to be back. I think it's on offensive position. He's going to take it, depending on who it is. Like, I'm very sure he's not going somewhere where you don't know who the quarterback is. Like, I wouldn't do that if I'm trying to get a head coaching spot. I mean, or maybe you do, depending on how you what you think your skill level is. But I definitely would be Washington and Carolina would be on my back burner as to take positions for the most part. Unless they're going to share who they're potentially look at going after in this year's draft. But definitely would be on my back burner. I wouldn't be trying to hit them. But of course, if Bieniemy's gone, you got Kansas City. I would look to go interview there. Go to interview. I'm just saying we don't know who is not disrespect, Anthony, because I was rocking with Washington initially. It's just you don't know who the quarterback now. You don't know who's going to be at the helm. So it's like, why would I want to attach my name to that initially? Like, you got currently 1 of 3 players. We already know Sam Howell is being named as the starter currently going forward, but that doesn't mean he's going to stay the starter. You don't know if they're going to go ahead and draft. So as a coach, if I'm coming in to interview for that position, I'm going to have questions like, can I get some insight to who you're looking at potentially drafting, where you're looking at the quarterback position, in which in turns to decide, like, when I go in, I got to go in with 3 different possibilities on what my philosophy would be going with these quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell. This is what I would like to institute. If going this, these are what I think are the strengths, the weaknesses, what I work with, what I would pinpoint. Additionally, for the most part, at the quarterback position, that doesn't even assert or account for the other positions in which they have. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to sit up and look at that for the most part. And it all starts with that quarterback. So how do I even go and interview, do a good prep for a good interview when I don't know who I'm left with? And then because it goes extensively, in my opinion, because now I'm also coming back, like, I know you have the draft, the pick at this point. If quarterback was an option, and these players would, this is what I would or wouldn't. So man, it'll be a lot to set up an interview with Washington and Carolina to prep for me to see if we become a good candidate. So I would really, 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 really not, if I could help it. I mean, if it ain't no bites, then of course you ain't got no choice. But if I got other people interviewing, I'm thinking about, okay, I might want to stay away from Washington and Carolina. No disrespect at all, bruh. Additionally, what actually could have been led off with is yesterday the Las Vegas Raiders did release Derek Carr after 9 seasons in the silver and black. Derek Carr, for around when he started, is only behind Tom Brady at 142 games played. He's been very durable for the most part. Now, of course, what's going to happen is, depending on where Derek Carr goes, Russell Wilson is currently in that wheelhouse at 141 games. Matt Ryan behind Russell Wilson with 140, and we don't know what the outcome is for Matt Ryan. Carr's overall record in Dallas, in Raiders uniform, 63-79. In that time frame, he went to the playoffs twice, but he did not advance out the first round. He did what probably would have been his best year, is the year that he broke his ankle 2 games before the end of the season, in which they were handled heavily. Derek Carr was drafted in the 4th round. Well, he was the 4th selected quarterback drafted out of Fresno State with the 36th pick in the NFL draft, which means he was a 2nd-round pick. He was the 4th quarterback drafted in that draft, in which he was drafted behind Blake Bortles, Johnny Manziel, and Teddy Bridgewater. When you look at it now, he has outplayed and surpassed those individuals, but Teddy Bridgewater remains to be a person that people look to. So we've always had a conversation and spoken, talked about where could potentially Derek Carr go. And when you look at it, the places in which they keep trying to put him, historically, when you look at his playing and his data, aren't good spots to go to. He's horrible or not productive when he plays in cold weather. He is 12-44 against playoff teams and has issues with those games in cold weather, where he is 2-10 with a QBR of 33.6, which is 44th out of 47 QB qualifying QBs. He has 58% passing rate completion percentage, and is 14-14 when it comes to touchdown and interception ratio. That doesn't bode well for a quarterback, especially in those type of games. And that's just a temperature of 40 degrees and below. When it comes to temperatures of 32 and below, he is 1-7 with a 35.5 QBR and 8 of 9 on the touchdown to interception ratio when it comes to 32 degrees and below. So Derek Carr obviously is not a cold weather player. So in my opinion, that scratches off going to the Jets. That potentially could scratch off going to the Carolina Panthers. Anywhere in which there is not a dome, climate control, or just warm, Derek Carr is not going to be a proficient in. In which, you have to travel for the most part, so that doesn't leave that. But of course, you play at home, guaranteed play at home 8 games. You can't be at home for your 8 games and lose 4 games because you're not efficient in cold weather. The Saints had a strike at him, though, Anthony. The Saints had an opportunity to get Derek Carr, and they said in state is the Saints wanted Derek Carr to come in and take a pay cut. Hence the reason Derek Carr said, "I'm not going to accept any trades." Which now, which of course he probably believes like he's going to get picked up on the market, but what is going to come to fruition is, are you going to be picked up on the market for what your value was with the Raiders? Like the Raiders was going to pay you $40 million. You was going to get 40. You was due to make $40 million. You was due to make 39. I think it was 39 or 29 million this year, and then due to make 41 million for next year, which had to be picked up, in which they release you because they're not paying you any of that. Now you're on your $56 million cap hold against their salary cap, and you're without a job. Maybe you should have got traded. The Saints, why wouldn't trade when I signed him for 4 years? True that, but now that only works, Anthony, if Derek Carr doesn't get any takers. They wanted to trade him and get him in on a lower salary. Now he's going to be a free agent. Now the Saints can go ahead and not trade for him and pick him up in free agency at a cheaper price tag, only if Derek Carr isn't got any other takers. That's the only way that works, in my opinion. He has to basically be sent out, and no one wants Derek Carr for him to take a pay cut and go play in New Orleans with no high expectations, not knowing who's going to be. I mean, he has Olave and he has Landry, but Michael Thomas was the top receiver there. Is Thomas there? What's going to go on with Kamara? Kamara still has the first those charges from Las Vegas last year. Like, all this still comes to fruition. You still got, of course, he has a good defense, so that would help. So maybe Derek being in New Orleans wouldn't be bad, but I don't know if it's going to be the right fit for him. Or the only way it happens possibly is if he has no takers and New Orleans comes in and be like, "We'll take you, but this is what has to happen." So it remains to be seen how that turns out, or how that ends up faring. Derek Carr. Additionally, we got other guys out there. You know, that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, is still thinking he's due to go on his retreat, a 4-night retreat that is going to basically put him in a position where he can come back and figure out if he's going to remain with the Green Bay Packers, if he's going to retire, or if he's just going to come back and request a trade. I would have signed Carr if I am trying to win. At this point, Carr would be better than some of the people that's out there. Additionally, of course, I have to believe that the expectation is that the Raiders are going to go after, of course, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it was one other name out there that they looked at. So it remains to be seen. We'll see at some point what it turns out to be. But I don't think Carr is the worst when it comes down to it. I don't think he'd be the worst. I mean, there's worse out there, I think. I don't think Carr has to be that one. Initially, I would have thought that would have been cool too, but a cold weather, additionally. They play outdoors, definitely cold weather. Ain't going to happen. Commanders will be a good spot for Carr. Cowboys and Eagles will be just fine. Here we go with the NFC East conversation. Usually Bishop will be in this conversation too, but of course we ain't seen Bishop in a couple of days. I hope he's okay. What else have we got in the talks of the NFL? Steichen, of course, we talked about that. Hurts. Let's get to Hurts, right? Hurts has an opportunity to get a extension. He's in his fourth year. He's going into his fourth year to be able to pick up extension. Already, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles has stated that Hurts has nothing to prove, and he is expected to be their long-term correction at He is expected to be their long-term solution at quarterback, going to his fourth year. Do you all think that uh, Jalen Hurts can get better? Is it room? Is there a ceiling? Has he reached his ceiling, or is it more room on that ceiling to get to that ceiling, or is he about to bust through that ceiling and continue to ascend, setting a new ceiling? What is your take on Jalen Hurts? He's starving for more. He looks out. He wants to do more. Of course, I'm very sure what seems to be a moniker is that when those cats get paid money, they seem to fall off. Of course, it was different for Patrick Mahomes. He got that big deal, and then 2 years later, here he is winning his second Super Bowl of three. So, do we see that same type of projection in Jalen Hurts? We all always hear Bishop talk about Peterson over in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. So is that do we have? There's another place where Ascension goes. Tua was doing pretty well before he got injured, so that's another thing. So is it enough room for everyone to grow? We're going to have a whole year with before the person we used to always talk about was Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson will have a full year in which he doesn't have to worry about any illegal legalities or anything. It can play out. Does Cleveland come back with a vengeance? We don't know what it's going to look like in San Francisco. The Rams been getting ready to get back. They will have Cooper Kupp back coming off an injury. Matthew Stafford coming back off an injury. Do they improve? We've seen Geno Smith do damage and win the comeback player of the year, as well as pretty proficient, 68% completion rate. Does Geno Davis turning around in Seattle? Like, a lot of questions can be answered with quarterbacks. But with all of that, the biggest question, which I answer, is Jalen Hurts the real deal? And is he going to be better than what he was last year? Do the Eagles come back and win the NFC East 2 years in a row? Something that hasn't been done by a team in over 12 years, 14 years, I think. Do the Eagles win 2 in a row? Is it Dallas' turn to win again? Does the Washington Commanders or New York Giants have something to say about that? Of course, we don't know what the Giants is going to be. They're currently looking at the possibly have to sign Danny Dimes or release him, maybe bringing in another type of quarterback. So a lot remains to be seen. Of course, additionally, the Vikings running back Dalvin Cook undergoes surgery for his shoulder, as that has been an ongoing issue over the course of his career, dating all the way back to when he was in Florida State. Of course, this year he dislocated it, in which he continued to play throughout the whole year, playing all 16 games for the first time in his career. The year before that, I think he broke it, in which he had to be out. So Dalvin Cook gets a chance to go in, use the whole full season to heal, and come back ready by the time of training camp. So that's another situation. Of course, the Vikings was pretty pulled in on offense. Dalvin Cook then took a step back, but Justin Jefferson stepped forward. Justin Jefferson did say that he was and believed that he was not the number one receiver last year, but maybe coming the year following. So we'll see. He was giving that to Davante Adams. Davante was serviceable in Las Vegas. Now we'll see what he have in a new quarterback, whoever comes in. So we'll see who is the top or wide receiver. We see Hill do some damage, and until Tua went out, what does it look like with a healthy Tua? It's all 16, 17 games with a healthy Tyreek Hill. Do we see any remnants of what that was before, or what we started out with the beginning of the year? Patrick Mahomes comes back. He'll have his receiving core, maybe add a little something. I know I did see a situation with C.J. Gardner talking. Everyone got something to say to Juju. In-state Juju is a Super Bowl winning receiver. But C.J. Gardner Johnson, we all know he's a very vocal a player corner from the New Orleans Saints that was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles after he had a little altercation or a couple of altercations while in the Saints uniform. He basically said, "I got more interceptions than." He said, I got more INTs than bruh had TDs. Maybe I need to change the wide receiver." And he's referring to Juju Smith-Schuster. Then he comes back and said, "Juju ran for me when I checked in the game. Then 10 got his smoke." Juju talked a lot for a guy who ain't productive for real, for real. AB, as in Antonio Brown, made you look amazing. After that, you've been toilet water. Wait, let me put a stamp on it. At Team Juju. Is CJ Gardner-Johnson just talking? Or does he have some validity? The end state is Juju got a Super Bowl. And he contributed to that Super Bowl to a degree. So is Juju not earned the respect yet? Has he not earned that respect yet? It's crazy out there. What do you have to do to earn respect these days? I know I said we wonder the same things. What we have to do to earn respect? San Francisco had to. I'm not gonna do that. People with no rings sound like the talking. That part, Anthony, it does happen. It does happen. Plus, he was holding on to Juju. Well, he did. It wasn't Gardner Johnson that held on to him. It was Bradbury. But that part, holding on to Juju, allowed him to get them into position to be able to kick that field. Well, Jerick McKinney ran in, they can score the touchdown, and then they put it away. So definitely one of those situations. Another fun fact that's out there in reference to NFL: the most Super Bowl winning players all time coming from a college. Top 10. You have UCLA has 10 all-time winning players from their program, Super Bowl wins. At number tied for 10, Ohio State's 37. Number 9, Georgia with 39. At number 8, LSU with 40. At number 6, Florida State with 43. Four-way tie for number 2, being Penn State, Tennessee, Notre Dame, and Miami, all tied with 45 players all time to win Super Bowls. And the number 1 team with the most players with all-time Super Bowl wins will be the USC Trojans with 50 players all time. Of course, number 6 is also tied for number 6 is Michigan with 43. So I just thought that was interesting to know. I was thoroughly impressed to see that and come across that. I was searching social media, right? I think we'll end up closing with this. I was searching social media. And in my search on social media, I came across a meme. And that meme basically said, of course, Anthony, come on, bruh. We are great. We are great. That's all I can say. We are great. But I came across a meme, right? And this meme was dubbed the Philadelphia Fraud Season Recap. What we have here is when they said that Philadelphia basically was fraudulent in their actions. And this is what it turned out to be. First, they beat a bottom 5 defense by 3 points, that being the Detroit Lions. Then they played Kirk Cousins in primetime. We all know the moniker that Kirk Cousins isn't effective in prime time. They beat Carson Wentz. They beat Trevor Lawrence before he remembered how to play quarterback, which is funny. They beat the Cardinals without Hopkins or a kicker. They beat Cooper Rush as a Cowboys starting quarterback. They beat a bottom three team in at the time, which was the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were at the time were looking at breaking Mike Tomlin's consecutive win season record. They struggled versus the 3-13 Texans, who they almost lost to them on Thursday Night Football. They lost to the Washington Commanders and Taylor Heineke at home. They beat the 4-12 Colts by 1 point. They beat the Packers by a score of 1 despite Aaron Rodgers leaving due to an injury. They beat the Titans in the middle of their 7-game losing streak. So basically kicking them while they're down. At that time, Ryan Tannehill was no longer there. They beat Daniel Jones. They barely beat the worst team in the NFL, being the Chicago Bears, without Justin Fields. Then they turned around and lost to Dak, who dropped 40 points on them. They lost to the New Orleans Saints with Andy Dalton at the helm at double digits while at home. They beat the Giants, who had no top players, for the last game of the season, and they only beat them by 1 point. They turned around and beat Daniel Jones after he used up all his powers in the wild card game. They ran to a 49 team and beat them with the quarterback number 4 and Brock Purdy without an elbow ligament. And then they turned around and choked 10 points to the fourth quarter lead on the Super Bowl. All called Philly Fraud season recap. When I see Bishop, I'm going to ask him about his thoughts on this Philly Fraud recap and see what his rhetoric will be, of course, going forward. So we have come to another show. I greatly appreciate y'all rocking with me, coming on. Sorry for the slight delay this morning as I was dealing with a couple of difficulties, but we got it on cracking, got it going. Greatly appreciate y'all coming in and tapping in this morning, falling in, and rapping with me a little bit. I can't do this without y'all. Make it very easy, especially the back and forth. Of course, we got something coming up. Today's Wednesday, hump day, as Bishop would say. Tomorrow, we got the Weekend Eve popping off. Friday, I'll be making my selections on what I believe is going to go down in the All-Star game. A little more coverage on NFL. This weekend, we got the XFL that's coming up, so we're going to cover that a little bit. Get into some of this college basketball, men's and women's, to get to talking about that, to tap in. We don't want to leave that out. So plenty of content out there. Greatly appreciate y'all rocking with me this morning. Look forward to see you tomorrow. Y'all know what it is at the time, 09 to 1100 hours every Monday through Friday morning. First formation on the E2G Sports Network. Tap in, check the E2G Sports Network to see what shows they got going on. And of course, do us a great big favor. Doesn't take much. Go to your YouTube, find the First Formation Morning Sports Talk Show, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to it on YouTube. So if you're ever away from your usual viewing, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or catching it on LinkedIn, you always can catch it on YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. Love y'all. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your